Milarepa is the greatest yogi in the history of Tibetan Buddhism. He was born on 25th July in the year of 1040 in Gongtang, Tibet, close to border of Nepal. When he was 7 years old, his father passed away, leaving Milarepa's uncle and aunt to look after his property. However, as uncle, aunt, and relatives were greedy and cruel, Milarepa, his mother, and sister had to serve them as slaves, and they were never given back their belongings. Desperate, Milarepa's mother sent him to study black magic in order to get revenge. Having learned quickly, he killed over 30 people and brought down a great hailstorm, ruining all crops of his enemies. Later, as a consequence, he felt a deep regret, which led him to practice Dharma with intense diligence. At the age of 38, Milarepa met Marba, the translator. Marba was one of the greatest masters and translators of his age. Knowing that Milarepa was destined to be the principal holder and propagator of his lineage, Marba put him through many years of severe hardships in order to purify all his negative deeds. Having become a proper vessel for the teachings, great Marba granted all the empowerments and secret instructions, leaving out nothing. Milarepa stayed with Marba for more than 6 years and practiced diligently by clarifying all his doubts. Then he set out to meditate in mountain solitudes, practicing intense asceticism for many years until he achieved ultimate enlightenment. Preferring the yogic lifestyle, Milarepa never established a monastery or community, but his fame spread all over Tibet, and followers gathered from near and far. His teachings were incredibly profound but simple to understand. From great scholars to illiterate villagers, people from all walks of life give rise to genuine realization based on his instructions. His collection of spontaneously sung songs carry the essence. Songs carry the essence of Buddha's teachings and have become famous as one of the great religious works of all time. Though not considered as reincarnation of a past master, still his activity was unbelievably incredible. For he is the one who demonstrated that with unfailing diligence, in one life and one body, perfect enlightenment can be attained by anyone. When he passed away in the year 1123 at the age of 84, many wondrous signs proclaiming his attainment of Buddhahood appeared, leaving no doubt as to his realization. He remains to this day the model for true Buddhist practitioner. Milarepa himself said, "Merely by hearing my name, one will not fall in lower realms for 7 successive lifetimes and will be able to recall 7 lifetimes." Your In the area of Jarngatsa in Gongtang, Mangyil, his paternal grandfather, Dorji Sangye, built a 3-story house with 4 pillars and 8 beams that was known as 4 pillars, 8 beams. After a son, Mila Tiparga, and a daughter, Beta Gurchil, were born, their father, Mila Hirv Jansen, passed away. His maternal uncle and aunt stole all their possessions and wealth, leaving Milarepa, his mother and sister, to suffer for many years. These are the ruins of their house, which has been damaged by floods and is in danger of collapsing. This is the location and retreat cave where Mila Tiparga practiced after receiving instructions on sorcery from the Lama Yondan Jamtso at Anupkalong in Zarong. Following the wishes of his mother, Nyangsakarjin, Milarepa went to Rithang and studied sorcery. He cast spell that caused his uncle Lianzhong Jansen's house to collapse, killing 35 people whom his mother hated. These are the ruins of the house. These are the ruins of Marba, the translator's father's house, where Marba was born and grew up. Realizing that Milarepa was coming, Marba went to welcome him by plowing a field. When Milarepa drank all the beer and completed plowing the field, these become favorable circumstances for him to meet the Lama. Thus, this field is called the field of favorable circumstances. In order to purify Milarepa's misdeeds and obscurations, Marpa ordered him to build a tower. Milarepa carried all the stone and lumber himself and built this tower and courtyard. Marpa consecrated the tower and held his son Dharmadordi's coming of age festival at the same time. The son lived here at this tower that is called the Sun's 9-story tower, or in Tibetan, Sinkurguto. When Milarepa offered his body, speech, and mind to Marpa and said he would do whatever his Lama said, Marpa accepted him and gave him all the empowerments and instructions. This monastery was later built upon the ruins of the monastery where that happened. 1000 Dolung. Milarepa walled off the door of this cave and placed a lamp on his head. He then spent day and night meditating here without distraction and developed good experience and realization. The deaconess told him to request instructions on transferring consciousness at this place, the Lhobzhe Tigerfish Cliff, or a cave of the tigerfish prophecy. While Milarepa was spending 11 months meditating without distraction at Lhobzhe Tanyuche, or in English, Lhobzhe Tigerfish Cave, he placed this stone lamp on top of his head so that he would not move his body. Marpa and his wife came to this place and held a feast offering. Milarepa first made a 7-branch offering and then described the certainty he had developed and how experiences and realization arose. Marpa and his wife were both delighted and each sang a song of praise. While staying in Narosangpu cave, Milarepa had a dream about his house and his fields, his mother and his sister. When Milarepa first saw Marpa's home, Dolong, he had a conversation with Marpa's son, Dharmadorde. Later, when Milarepa returned to his homeland, the Guru and his wife accomplished him as far as this place, the top of Dharma Pass, or Chulargang, where they held a feast offering at which Marpa made prophecies of the future. This is the field Milarepa inherited from his father, called Triangular Grain Field. This is the field Milarepa inherited from his father, called triangular grain field. These are the ruins of the house of the teacher who taught Milarepa to read. These are the ruins of the stupa, where Milarepa and the son of the teacher who taught him to read placed the remains of Milarepa's mother's bones, which they had made into small clay tatas. Milarepa meditated for a long time in the cave on the mountain behind his own house and established a firm foothold in meditation there, which is why this is called the firm foothold cave. Jitsun Milarepa spent many years at White Cave and Horsetooth Middleway Fortress as an ascetic living off nettles. He accepted some food offered by his sister Beda and betrothed Zisi. He practiced the points on the scroll Marba had given him, which liberated his channels from the Maras. This is White Cliff Horsetooth Cave, where he developed excellent qualities of experience and realization and was even able to fly into the sky. Milarepa flew from White Horsetooth Cave to the shaded mountain in the front, where he meditated and developed incredible heat through his tummo practice. This is that place, Menchidema Fortress. When Milarepa flew between White Horse Tooth Cave and Mencitema Fortress, a father and son whose relative had been killed in the collapse of Milarepa's uncle's house saw him. The father criticized him, but the son was amazed. These are the remains of that place, the Lomda field. This is the place where Gypsy Milarepa bound the demoness named Cliff Demoness and her retinue to protect all who perform Dharma activity. This place is called Langpa Cliff. This is the luminous cave of Run, where Milarepa took Saparipa as a disciple, gave him empowerments and instructions, and brought him to liberation. When Milarepa was staying in Goat Hell underground cave, he met Richungpa, who felt great faith and prostrated to him. When Richungpa went to India to recover from an illness, Milarepa stayed walled inside Goat Hell underground cave until he returned. When Milarepa was staying in Goat Hell underground cave, he met Richungpa, who felt great faith and prostrated to him. When Richungpa went to India to recover from an illness, Milarepa stayed walled inside Goat Hell underground cave until he returned. When his disciple Richungpa returned from India, he came here to Wirsen Doyurzong, or Wirse Fortress of Sense Pleasures, to welcome him. Sitting within the natural of luminosity, he saw that Richungpa was coming from Gongtang but had developed a prideful streak. In order to smash Richungpa's pride, Milarepa sat inside a yak horn, without the horn getting any bigger or himself getting smaller, at this place, Huaklitang, or Hualmohuatang. In English, it's called Plain of Plains. Sheepherder Ripa offered this place to stay, hidden cave mammal fortress, to Milarepa. This is Lapu Lotus Cave, or Lapu Pamarzon, where Milarepa saved many animals who were to be sacrificed for Bon religious activity, and where Milarepa brought Shingon Ripa to ripening and liberation. Shingon Ripa, his father and brothers offered Milarepa service at these retreat places. Oxgate Naga Diamond Fortress. Japto Sky Fortress. Tiger Cave Lion Fortress. Torjilodorji Fortress. And Happy Cave Sun Fortress. At the request of the Decani Sinhamukha, Milarepa came to meet Kamalashla here at Nyanantongla Pass. In order to test Kamalashla's clairvoyance, he transformed himself into a bunch of flowers. Later, Milarepa removed his own skull and brains and boiled them over a fire generated by the fire of Tumo, which they then made a feast offering. He also emanated 7 bodies, each of which stood on the tip of a stalk of grass. This is Jnanadopa cave, where Milarepa demonstrated the miracles of becoming substantial and insubstantial and both. Through the Dharma, he overcame disputes motivated by jealousy. He also told his own life story in detail and brought many students to repenting and liberation in this place. This is Rinpoche's retreat cave, where he found the courage to ask for Milarepa's life story after being encouraged by signs in dreams of lamas, yidams, and decanis. As Marba had predicted, Milarepa accepted Dirgamripa as a disciple when singing the following song at this location, Lartujet or Thur. The wondrous place, Lartujet is far to circle but near to approach. Come here, you faithful and distinct devotees, and all who would renounce this world and life. This is the place, Silver Spring, where Milarepa accepted his disciple, Ripa Shewaul, as predicted by Decanis, by crossing the Wongchi River without his feet sinking into the water. The local deities of Mount Kailash and Lake Mandarava welcomed Milarepa and his disciples. They prostrated and offered amazing offerings. This is the place called Latu or Girla, where Milarepa promised to protect individuals who uphold the lineage. Without Milarepa's body growing larger or Lake Mandarava getting smaller, he covered it and sat above it. He then picked up all the water from Lake Mandarava, with his fingertip without harming any of the beings who lived in the water. This is the Zonglong Lotus Cave on the left side of Mount Kailash, where Milarepa and his disciples spent a long time practicing. Milarepa stretched his leg from Zonglong Lotus Cave across the lake and left his footprint at the entrance to Naro Wenchung's retreat cave. When Naro Wenchung put a rock the size of a yak's corpse on a large boulder, Milarepa placed this boulder that was twice the size. Milarepa circumambulated clockwise and Wenchong went counterwise. They met here, saying that they would each circumambulate Mount Kailash in their own fashion. These are the footprints left on the boulder where they pulled each other by the arms. They agreed to make a hut as shelter from the rain. Milarepa raised the walls. Wenchong was unable to lift the stone for the roof, but Milarepa picked it up with one hand. Saying it was too high, he pushed it down from above. Saying it was too low, he lifted it from below. The hand and footprints he left doing this can be seen here at the Cave of Miracles. Using his close robe as wings, Milarepa flew to the peak of Mount Kailash, where he saw the faces of the lineage gurus as well as Chakrasamvara and his retinue. Unable to withstand Milarepa's splendor, Nara Wenchong fell from the sky and was caught in the rock slide on Mount Kailash's southern face. His pride and arrogance cooled. He admitted that he had been defeated in the contest of miraculous powers. This is Tiger Cave Lion Fortress, where it was prophesied that after Milarepa stayed in Sangala Forest at Yomo, helping humans and non-humans, he would benefit beings and the teachings by returning to Tibet. At this mountain, Nyakhangarta, Milarepa accepted Cherawa Ngombu as a student. He made deer and dogs meditate, pacifying their anger and fear and liberating them from the suffering of the lower realms. At this mountain, Nyakhangarta, Milarepa accepted Cherawa Ngombu as a student. He made deer and dogs meditate, pacifying their anger and fear and liberating them from the suffering of the lower realms. When Cherawa Ngombu entered the gate of Dharma, he offered his deer, dog, bow and arrows to Milarepa. The bow can still be seen in Girta. This is the southern mountain, Nyakhan cave of Gadaya in Nepal, where the Nepalese Kokum king offered Milarepa robes of kashka fabric, arura fruit, and victory banners at the request of Tara. After Milarepa brought benefit to his Nepalese students, Richongpa and Shingoripa invited him to return to Tibet. On the way, he stayed at Left Ear Cave at Lashchimdo. Tserama came to taste him, but was unable to shake him from the samadhi within which he sat. This is the main one of all Milarepa's retreat caves. Dro Lache snow fence, which had been predicted by Marba. This was Milarepa's primary retreat cave, the great cave of subduing the demons at Lache, where Milarepa spent a long time and was victorious over gods and ghosts in a contest of magic and obstacles. While Milarepa was practicing in Lache, a blizzard blocked the entrance to the pass, and his sponsors from Nyanang decided that he must have died. When they broke through the snow and came looking for his remains, Milarepa emanated a snow leopard and welcomed them from this border. At this location, Ramdang Sky Cave, when Richongpa and Drgumripa had a discussion about the view and meditation, Milarepa sang a song about the points of the view, meditation, and conduct which gave them certainty. This place, Largalonga, 9 passes 9 winds, is where non-humans made magic when Milarepa was on the way from Lachanintal, and Milarepa subdued them through magic. This is Chogor Narmanakaya Palace, where Milarepa brought Harmanjas Therama, the Dharma Lord Gamboba, and others onto the path to ripening and liberation, and where ultimately he himself dissolved his form body into the Dharma expanse. Milarepa said that although he was a yogi, many of his followers would be monastics who would perform the activity of his teachings. His teachings have been spread by Vajra holders who hold the threefold conduct of Vinaya discipline, intention of altruistic bodhicitta, and practice of the methods of the secret mantra, Mangalam.
Thank you.